Hi, Ray Pointer here, and I want to show you the latest new product from ResearchWiseAI. And I think it's pretty exciting. Now you're going to be able to do theme generation, sentiment analysis, coding, all of these sorts of things as an add-in in regular Excel. So instead of having to upload your material elsewhere and work with it and then bring it all back together, you can actually do it in Excel. So let me show you what it is, and then I'll tell you how you can be one of the beta testers. So here is 150 rows of data, which I downloaded from the Kaggle website. They're all reviews of Disney parks. And in column E, we've got text. And we want to do something with that text. So I select column E, and I go to Pulse, which is the new feature that we have added. And let's start off with something simple. So let's just do Analyze Sentiment. It checks that we want to do it on column E. I say yes. It submits that up to our system, starts analyzing it, and here we are. And now we've got, let's just make those bold so it'll be easier to see. We've got the original text, we've got the positives. If we scroll down, here's a negative. Visited, it rained all day, only place to shelter was in the shops. Yeah, we can see that's clearly negative. So that's really quick, really straightforward within the system. So let's go back to the data, and I've still got those reviews highlighted. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to ask it to generate some themes. So checks we want it there, and off it goes. And this takes a little bit longer. So I'm going to cut a little bit out of the video for speed. You can see the timer though. So that took 47 seconds. So let's have a look at those themes that it's generated for us. And what it shows us is it's generated 7 themes. One about crowds and queues, one about costs and value, one about the magic and of Disney and the family attraction, one about ride breakdowns, unfortunately, one about sizes and comparisons, one about planning and tips, and another one about the sort of the staff and the access. So we can look at a longer description. We can look at representative examples. So staff were extremely helpful and courteous, extremely busy even on a Wednesday, all sorts of representative statements of those. So now we've got our themes, and you are going to be able to configure this so it tends to generate more themes or tends to generate fewer. But I've just run with the defaults here. Now if we go back to our original data, we can do single code, we can do multi-code, but my strong recommendation would be have a look at the similarity matrix and say, yes, I still want to use E. I want to use the existing theme set. So it's going to have a look at that. And again, it's going to go away and it's going to do that allocation work out how far every one of those statements is away from every one of those codes. And 11 seconds, and we've got a multi-coding. So it tells us that this first one is very much 51%, the highest rating. Anyone needs to read a review of Disneyland before going should return to their home planet. The magic is there along with thousands of people and so on. So we can see that it runs through, but if we scroll down, we're going to see that sometimes there are relatively few hits, other times there are a lot more hits. So this really long open-ended comment here has generated hits on more of the categories. But if you want coding, you can ask it to do multi-coding. So let's just go back to the data. We'll ask it to multi-code. We still want to use that theme that we've developed. We can generate new themes. We could bring in our own themes. So that took a couple of seconds, and now we've got the data multi-coded. And just one final example before I wrap up and tell you how you can use this yourself, or how you can be a beta tester anyway. I could have hit the single code. If I do that, again, we check the data, we tell it we want to use this existing theme, and then we can have a look at the single code. And I've just tidied up the screen a little bit here so it's easier to see. And you can see that it's taken each one of the review texts and it's allocated it to a single one of the phrases that we had picked in there. So this product is ready to ship over the next few days to beta testers. We're looking for some people who want to try it out. They can try it out for free. We'll cover the costs of the data access and all the rest of it, because we just want to check the usability. We want to check that it's doing exactly what you want. We obviously want to check that the interface is as usable as possible. If you would like to be a beta tester, what we'd like you to do is email support@researchwiseai.com and say Pulse Beta Tester, and then just tell us a little bit about yourself and the sort of organization you are. We have tried this in French, we have tried this in Japanese. It appears to work perfectly well in both languages. So we'd certainly be interested in some beta testers who are going to try it from different places. I look forward to hearing from you.